Pelicans' record is now 15-19. So, Shannon, here's the question, though. Why isn't the Pelicans' record better at this point?
Because they don't play any defense. They're a historically bad defensive team, Skip. And only the Sacramento Kings play worse defense than what the Pelicans play. They nearly blew a 17-point lead. Skip, this game was supposed to be over. They come down and make a couple of threes back-to-back, and I'm thinking the ball game's over. I turn away and turn back, and the next thing I know, Utah has the ball with a chance to take the lead. Skip, that's their problem, is that their two best players are unconcerned with defense. I thought Zion Williamson would be a better defender. You told me, Skip, he was going to be an all-NBA defensive player. I thought he would be a lot better. I didn't think that because he's kind of undersized to bang with 7-footers and 6'10", 6'11 guys. But I thought he would be better defensively than what he is. Brandon Ingram is not playing any defense. He's an offensive guy. He's looking to put the ball in the hoop. And when your two best players are unconcerned or unwilling to play defense at some kind of level, you're going to let teams even lead that you think are insurmountable, Skip. A couple of threes, and everybody, because everybody, with the exception of the Lakers right now, can shoot and make threes. And so you're really, really never out of the ball game, and they let Bogdanovich get a couple of wide open looks. They let O'Neal get a couple of wide open looks. And the really thing that saved him is that Donovan Mitchell was really ice cold in the first half. I think he had 11 points in the first half on 5 of 13 shooting. So he was off. Conley didn't have the greatest night. But that's the reason why, Skip. Offensively, they can put points on the board. We see that. B.I. averaging, 25? I think, as a matter of fact, Skip, they might be the #1 duo or they're top 3 as far as scoring duos. But defense, and that's not Stan Van Gundy's calling card, Skip, is defense. But they play little to none. More time than not, they play no defense. And this is why I believe they haven't reached their potential, because teams get up and down the court. You're not going to win consistently. Now, unless you got what the Nets have, that can, on most nights, go get you 140. But even there, the Nets, Skip, they started winning games when what? When they buckled down and played a little better defensively. And so that's what the Pelicans are going to have to do, Skip, if they want to make the playoffs, want to make this push. Even just get to the 7-10, because those are play-in seeds, and then you see what happens from there.
Yeah.
But until that happens, Skip, they play better defense, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah. By the way, they're still 2 games out of that round-robin round. So they're in 12th, and they need to be in 10th.
12th.
They're 15 and 19, which is completely unacceptable when you have Zion, who made the All-Star team, Brandon Ingram, who made it last year, and Lonzo Ball, who right before your very eyes has come of age. They made a nice pickup in addition with Steven Adams, who's getting them 9 rebounds a game, so that works. They added Eric Bledsoe, who's sort of sharing the point guard duties with Lonzo. It's been pretty good, but to your point, the defense has been atrocious. It's not historically bad, but they're 29th ranked defense, so they're 2 from the bottom, so we can't go historical. But, by the way, they're 6th in offensive efficiency. Well, that'll work. So the only way they've won their 15 games is they just have to literally outscore you and hope that you don't score enough down the stretch to catch them, right? And remember what they did against Phoenix back on February 19th, not that far back, that they were up 102-91 going to the fourth quarter at home against Phoenix. They lost the fourth quarter 41-12. Okay, so whose fault is this that they've blown these leads and they're only 15 and 19? Well, I first guessed this. I'm not a Stan Van fan. Stan Van Gundy, to me, doesn't work with today's kids who play this game. I think his words, his rants are falling on deaf ears among the younger Pelicans because he's not connecting with them, as you say, his calling card is defense. Well, they're playing little to none. And I agree with you. I am a huge Zion fan, much bigger than you are, especially on the offensive end. And I did not say that he was going to make first-team all-defense. I just said that he will block shots and he will be active on defense at they list him at 6'7". I think he's about 6'6", as you know. And he just doesn't play very hard on the defensive end. It's an afterthought to him. It used to be the calling card of Lonzo Ball. It's becoming more of an afterthought for Lonzo Ball, which is shocking and disappointing to me.
You noticed that too, huh?
Yeah. I have. And I'm also the biggest Lonzo fan. But what is shocking me is how underutilized my man Zion is in the fourth quarter of these games, because Zion is like, he legitimately made the All-Star team. He's averaging 26 points, 7 rebounds, which I thought should be 10, and maybe it will. Remember, he's only 20 years of age. He's played a grand total of 57 NBA games. So he hasn't even played near a full season of NBA basketball yet. And yet he leads the league at 61% shooting from the field. That's with players who've taken 400 or more shots. So in that high of the 56 players who've taken 400 or more shots, he's running away with the percentage lead at 61%. Well, he leads points in the paint, the whole NBA. He's 636 points in the paint. To Giannis has 572. And Shannon, if you look at historical points in the paint, and the stats are only kept back to 1996, but Shaq has the top 7 points in the paint since 1996. And do you remember 2000 when he just ragdolled everybody who played him, including Tim Duncan and David Robinson in the playoffs? He dunked on everybody's head. He just did. He terrorized the NBA. He turned it into more football, basketball, and they couldn't even referee Shaq because he was so big and strong at, what do we give Shaq, 7'1"? I believe he's 7'1". And
7'1", and probably this prime Skip, probably about 330.
330-ish, okay. And is Zion 300? He may be, but at about 6'6", 300. But if you look at what Shaq did that year when he set the record for points in the paint, he averaged 23 points in the paint per game. Well, Zion has the next best season to all those Shaq seasons, which is this season. He's averaging 19 points in the paint, and he's only 20 years old. When Shaq had his most dominating, devastating season, he was 27. So he was more of a man with his man body than Zion is at age 20, having played only 57 NBA games. So let's let that, go ahead, take shape.
But Skip, you look, okay, Zion, 96% of his shots come from the lane. 83% of his shots come from the mid-range, the restricted area. Skip, he's taken four mid-range shots the entire season. But let me tell you why he's not getting more opportunity in the fourth quarter. I don't know if you noticed this, Skip. They're subbing him on the defensive end in the fourth quarter because he's become a liability on defense.
Yeah, but
Skip,
just a little bit.
You're a historically great player. They can't Skip. No great player. You covered this game far too long. You know there's no great player that they sub in that situation. You can't.
Okay.
Because what happens? You get the what happens, Skip? You force them to miss, and you get the rebound, and your best offensive guy, your best guy, is on the bench. You can't run that risk.
Okay. Last night they did it one possession where they put Josh Hart in for him, but they put him right back in when there was a change where they could get him back in on offense. Because he was going at Rudy Gobert last night. Rudy Gobert is, what, 7'2"? And if we could see one play that Zion made in the third quarter, he would just attack him and go right into his chest. And on one play, if we see this, he just attacks him, blasts him, and doesn't get the scoop and score, but just pogo sticks right back up and puts it right back in. Well, he's knocking Rudy Gobert back on his heels because he's a baby bull. And he's got he's got ferocious touch. You know, he comes at you with 300 pounds, and he's got incredible ambidextrous touch. Well, I've never seen a force of nature quite like Zion in the paint, or if you want to say in the restricted area. But too often in the fourth quarter, he's an afterthought on offense. They don't run anything to get him the ball in the paint.
Well, but the thing is, I would like to see, and like you said, he's only 20. So I'm going to give him a chance to grow and mature and give him an opportunity to work on his game so he can do something other than lay the ball up and dunk. And then that way, Skip, I can give him the ball on the wing, and I can let him create for himself or create for other people. But like you said, he's only 20 years of age. But, Skip, he might be 20 years young, but he's a grown-ass man as far as body and physicality, Skip. He just wrecking shop. I mean, he can just move grown men with the greatest of ease. He's Charles Barkley 2.0. That's how Chuck was.
Yep.
He's Charles Barkley. He's a more athletic Charles Barkley.
He is.
That's who his game reminds you of. Now, Charles can shoot, Skip, outside. You know, Charles had range.
Oh,
Charles eventually developed into a very good three-point shooter. Not great, but a good one. He can make it. And like I said, Skip, you know, because he says things now, and some people like him, some people don't. People don't realize just how good